One of the best things that can happen to you if you're selling your product and services to webinar is to have a continuous flow of customer on your webinar. When you talk to people, most of the people struggle with this. In this video, I'm going to share 5 mistakes that you can avoid to have a continuous flow of customer on your webinar. Before we dive in, I want you to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you can get a similar content at equal interval of times. So let's get into it. 5 mistakes to avoid if you are not getting clients on your webinar. So I'm going to share a few concepts first, and then 5 mistakes, and then the next step which is appropriate for you. So let's look at the concept as to what it takes to conduct a great webinar. We are in the middle of the digital urgency, and we know that the best medium we can communicate through digital currency. If you can take this opportunity and help somebody grow on their challenges, this is the best opportunity for every one of us. We need to have a deep core intention to help people to succeed on the webinar. This is one of the very important aspect, because if you don't have the right intention, you will never ever get the right results. The third thing which you should remember and commit to is to give a specific outcome after a specific period of time. So you need to give the results to your clients, you need to give the results, you need to give them the resources. Maybe you can share a step-by-step process, maybe you can give them a formula. Applying that, they will be able to travel from point A to point B in the shortest possible time and expect to get a measurable result. So this is very important. If you have these 3 aspects right, then you will be able to have a great webinar, conduct great webinar, have an engagement at a deeper level. Now let's get into the 5 mistakes what you should avoid on the webinar. The first mistake that you should avoid is not speaking to the right audience. The right audience or the right target audience is so very important. You need to have an audience who are willing and has the ability to pay you. There's no use in speaking before people who are not the kind of audience who would spend the time and money for your content. You should give them a lot of free content so that you are able to engage them and feed them and give them value over equal interval of time. Maybe he is not ready to buy it today, but over a period of time, with consuming that value, consuming your content, he might take that decision to buy your product. Third thing is that you should treat this as a business and not as a hobby. Only if you treat this as a business, they will treat as a business and they would be serious for your content. The second mistake that you should avoid is not waiting for them to come to you. Now this is the biggest mistake that most of us commit. We avoid a long-term waiting game. You should not avoid a long-term wait. What do I mean by this is that there would be hundreds. For example, there are 100 people on a webinar. Maybe 20% people buy the product, but 80% may not buy the product. What do you do with the 80% of the people is what is the game changer. Most of us wait for them, or you try to engage them with email marketing, but that is not engaging enough for them to come out, bring on your webinar. And that's the reason you need to have a strategy to reach out to them. Pick up a phone and reach out to them, because most of the people are not comfortable sharing their struggles online. That is where if you are having a one-to-one interaction, maybe you would be able to have that anxiety solved, and he might take that buying decision. Most of the people with this particular method, you can definitely look forward for a 10% conversion ratio, which otherwise you would have left it on the table. You need to make sure that you are at the right places. You need to be very sure where your target audience is. Suppose your target audience is on the Facebook, you need to be very regular on the Facebook. Suppose they are on the LinkedIn, you need to be on the LinkedIn and engaging with them over a equal period of time. So the engagement means a deep core intention of helping them and engaging your target audience. During the process, you will come to know who is your customer. Element, I'm going to share the strategy as to how much of the content you need to give and how much of the promotion you need to give. The third thing is that not posting the right content. This is the biggest mistake. Start by sharing what you know. You would know something about it. You need to be only 1 page ahead of your target audience to address them. Content should show your expertise. That's what I mean to say. You should be 1 page ahead of them, is that you need to share the content which they have yet not come across. They have not implemented that. They have not come across something. They should be getting something new over a period of time. and let people know that you can help them. This is very, very important aspect, as to you should always be, no matter he buys your product or he doesn't buy your product, you should always be able to add value to him and give him that additional support, give him that additional resource which will help him build that trust. And once the trust is built, he is ready to buy anything that comes with you. The fourth mistake you should avoid is to not making an offer. Most of the time we are so engrossed in our content because your content is like your baby and you want to give everything to your target customers. In doing so, what happens is that we forget what the customer wants, we forget what his problem is, and we are only sharing knowledge and knowledge and knowledge. You should always try to communicate with them an option, that there is an option. You should always communicate and just let the customer know that there is an option to hire and buy from you. What is the services that you are able to provide the best? What is the product that you are selling, and where they can come and buy that from? This is very, very important. And use the free content. The free content is sometimes very, very resourceful. You should always direct them to the free content so that they are able to engage the value. Sometimes people do not build the trust on your webinar and they need some additional resources, they need some additional intervention from you to take that decisions. That is where you can give them this free content and get them. The best thing is to get them into your Facebook group or some place where you can have an engagement with them, and where you can share this content with them, where you can share these videos with them, share this knowledge with them, share this value with them, and over a period of time he will build that trust and come back to you. And always use 3-1 rule. Now what is 3-1 rule? 3-1 rule is that you share 3 pieces of knowledge, and in the 4th piece you give them a call to action or share an opportunity for them to share a promotional video or share a call to action. So 3 pieces of knowledge and 1 piece of promotion. 3 pieces of knowledge and 1 piece of promotion is the idea which you should implement. The 5th mistake that you should avoid is not being consistent. So you should have a regular intervention with your customers at a regular interval of time. Keep on giving the value, keep on sharing the industry statistics, keep on sharing something new which is happening in your subject matter, and that is where they will be able to connect with you at a deeper level. Yeah, and second thing is that you should not expect the result immediately. This is not a quick fix scheme. You need to have a deep core connect with your customer, and once you start doing at an equal interval of time, you can have, there will always be a gap between your efforts and the return. So typically you should be ready for 1 to 3 months when you start getting the results, when you start seeing the response, when you start seeing that reciprocation. And the third thing is that don't complicate. It is easy, but it is simple. Simplification is the name of the game. Most of the time we are so engrossed in the complexities of life that we feel that the solution to my problem will always be complex, and you look forward, and we are always looking for a formula which should be very, very complex, and you feel that the solution is in the complex thing. Let me break that myth for you. The solution is in simplification. So look for a simple thing. Try to focus on the basics. If you correct the basics, your outcome will automatically change. So these are the 5 mistakes which you should always avoid. And if you are able to do this, you will be able to have a great interaction with your customer, and you will have, if you are able to have great interaction, if you are able to have a right target audience, if you are able to have a great engagement, if you are able to be there where your target customer is, and then having an intervention at an equal interval of time, you will always have people who would be interested in listening to you. And that is where you can bring them onto your webinar, share the link with them in those forums, and this is the way you can get the continuous flow of customer on your webinar. So I hope it was useful and you will implement this formula in your webinar. So let me take you to the next step. As to what is the next step, I conduct regular webinar on this particular subject as to how to sell your product and services effectively through webinars. Just in case you are not attended my webinar, I want you to click on this particular link and register for the next upcoming webinar, so that you can have a greater idea and an in-depth knowledge of what it is all about. I'm going to share a free resource today, which is this particular mind map, which you can download from the video below and keep it for your future references. The third thing which I want to do is to subscribe to my VIP group. Just in case you're not a part of this particular VIP group, I have regular intervention with my customers in this particular group, and I'm there live. I solve problem, I answer your questions. So just in case you want to have more interaction with me, please subscribe to this group, and I share a lot of content at a regular interval of time. I hope it was useful and you will take benefit of this and avoid these mistakes so that you can have a regular flow of customer at equal interval of time. Once again, I want to like this particular video and subscribe to my channel so that you can have a similar content coming to you at a regular interval of time. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.